stay within the game, right? Stay within the box, but stand out within the box.
Welcome to the Big Brand Theory podcast by Blackwood Creative.
Johnny, thank you for joining me today.
Of course.
So you started on the Blackwood team.
Correct.
A while back, and then we're doing stuff for Zip and then Blackwood, but now you basically are solely focused on helping our customers at Zip. And Zip's a print shop, right? And we do all sorts of stuff, paper and Yeti mugs and whatever. So I'm curious to hear from you what your experience has been going from mainly a digital agency, basically, to a print shop. Like, while they work hand in hand, very different. So what are you experiencing?
Well, I think the first thing to note is that the turnout, or how it becomes money in the customer's hand, is different. So when you think about in the digital aspect of it, you can see the clicks, you can see what is it becoming, what is it leading to. When you have a back scratcher, that might not lead to anything necessarily that you can track, at least. So I think that's one of the main differences, especially when it comes to the customer itself and what they're expecting out of it. Thankfully, a lot of customers aren't expecting necessarily leads from the items that they're getting. They're just expecting brand recognition and brand awareness and their brand being out there and people scratching their backs, as well as people drinking their water or coffee or whatever it is. So I think the expectation is different, but that's definitely the main difference.
That makes sense. I mean, that's definitely something like when I bought Zip, moving from a marketing company to print and then realizing there's a lot of differences.
Yeah.
But that's definitely one of them where nobody's going to say, hey, I saw your pen and I picked it up at wherever. And maybe that's true. Hopefully that is true, that there's some direct sales to that. But it is a lot more about brand recognition, so that they've been using your pen for 6 months. They saw your the business card somewhere. Then when they actually needed your services, then they're like, oh yeah, I remember that company. Let's talk to them.
I think there's definitely some truth to that, especially when it comes to the quality of the item. So I have some realtor friends, for example. They have some really nice pens, and that can show that, okay, I'm putting money behind my product.
Yeah.
So I am definitely a little bit higher quality than someone, that either doesn't have their custom pens, or maybe they have the cheaper ones, the ones that, scrape off as soon as you touch it a couple times or something like that. So definitely the quality of the item that you're getting, whatever the item is, can say something about your business, even though maybe it may not lead to a lead or a sale. It just says something about the product or about your company and what type of money they're putting behind their marketing.
Yeah, so these two pens are a prime example. This is our Zip pen, and this one is etched in, soft touch. It's got the stylus on the back, super popular pen. This one we got a while back for Blackwood, all plastic, and it's pad printed. And I've noticed any of these that I've used over time, it's all rubbed off.
It's just a yellow pen.
Gone. Yeah. So we don't buy those anymore. We get these bad boys and get them etched, and then this never rubs off. It's there.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I mean those are nicer. They're metal, like you said. They're heavier, and it's truly what it is. It's the quality of the item that talks about the quality of your company. And like you can see in that one, that just has the Zip printing logo. There's no website, phone number, anything. It's not like we're using it to get a sale. We're just using it to have the quality item.
And to that point, like I think, in one of the main reasons that I decided just the logo, because I want the logo as big as possible, but as many people that are just, they'll see this and they're just going to Google our name anyways.
Yeah.
Why do I need to put a phone number and a website and all this stuff? They're just going to Google, what's Zip printing? Google, found it. So as long as our our Google search game is on point, which
Right.
even if they're searching your name, you should at least pop up right on the first page.
You'd hope.
You'd hope. If you don't, you know who to call. But yeah, so that's, and we get compliments on this pen all the time, for sure. But the idea is just, it's the right color. It's just our logo. It's just a branding piece. And I sit down with people all the time, and they're using our pen because they're like, this is my favorite pen.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. So
Yeah, and I mean, even beyond that, adding to what you said, we do a lot of paper print, obviously, in the shop. And that's one of the things that we're trying to push people towards when it comes to business cards, for example. This one, another company of yours, Settle, product placement here. Literally all it has is a name, phone number, and an email. There's nothing more here. And that's something that we're pushing some people to do. I mean, just like you said, if someone's looking for your company, they're just going to put it on Google and it's going to pop up. Hopefully it's going to pop up. So why load up this card with 15 lines of text front and back with all of your services and all? This is not a card to tell your customer or your potential customer everything that you do. It is a business information card.
Yeah.
Just how to contact you, and here's a name, a phone number, and an email, and that's all you need.
Do you think business cards are still as valuable as they once were?
I think so. There's an argument for not needing them, which is your contacts in your phone. But having a business card is something that you can give, and so many people still ask for them. And it's not only the older generation that still hasn't moved from it. I have a stack of business cards on my desk that just have a bunch of people's information, and I just go to it when I need to find someone or when I need to compare something, need to find their information, their company's information. I think it's a physical piece of information that you can give to someone instead of putting on their phone and they forget about it.
Yeah.
If this goes in their wallet, their pocket, their car, whatever it is, eventually they're going to look at it and they're going to find it and they're going to be like, oh, I need to call this dude.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it. But if it's in their phone, they might never see your contact again.
Right. Yeah. And I was meeting with somebody the other day, and he was like, you know, I'll get back with you. Hey, do you have a business card? That's the quickest way for us to be like, yeah, here you go.
Yep.
And it's fast, and he can do whatever he wants with it. If he wants to put the contact information in his phone, great. If he wants to put it in a box somewhere or leave it on his desk to remind him of something, it's like, that's valuable. And I think to the point of, like we were talking about with the pens, the quality of the business card makes a huge difference. These are like the trifecta. They got black in the center, and it's like a velvet touch, really cool card. And every time I give this to somebody, they go, oh, that's nice, like without exception. So versus this one's still nice. It's better than your real basic one, but it's not quite the same. And I think if you hand somebody this card, they're going to be like, oh, it's a decent card, but it's not memorable,
Right.
like this one is. So using, you know, different cards, we have some that have the UV raised stuff, like you can feel the logo and like all that kind of stuff. Like I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I mean, I think mainly what Zip does is trying to help people stand out with still fitting in whatever it is. Like there's people that ask for square business cards, different cut shapes business cards, whatever it is, and that's all cool and all, but when it comes to it, sometimes those are more inconvenient than they make you stand out. Because if you give someone a square business card instead of the regular cut, and if they have a business card book, that's not going to fit in there. And now your card is the odd one that's going to go somewhere else.
Right.
And although it may sound like it stands you out, sometimes it may actually work against it, because now it's inconvenient for them to have your card. It doesn't fit in their wallet because now it sticks out. And who wants a random business card sticking out of their wallet?
Yeah.
So I think that is definitely exactly what it is. You know, a trifecta business card, a UV business card, soft touch. It makes you stand out while still being the regular size business card that everyone is used to. Same with the pens. You can get the cheap pen, or you can get a really nice pen that is fully going to make you stand out when someone's holding it. And that goes, we can go on and on about every single item on what you can pick and what you should pick.
Yeah. What are some things maybe we've done recently or you've thought of that are unique items that people can think of outside of like a pen and a business card?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely there's some more common ones that are more regular use, and then there's also some that are specific to what the company or the industry is. Some more regular ones are like some lanyards or some keychains. Those are some different items that people may hold on to or may use. There's more unique ones like a back scratcher that I don't think I've ever seen or used a back scratcher that has a logo on it, but if I was given one, and this one is a trucking company, they're driving all day long, so maybe they do need something to reach in their back. That is the example of you're in an industry and you need to find what that industry needs. Because if they keep that, again, no phone number, no email, no website, just a logo. It's just what it needs on it. Maybe they'll remember it one day when they're looking at it and they'll be like, oh yeah, let's check them out. But yeah, so that one, again, the same vacation type of industries, floating keychains. That if you drop in the water, your key's not going to go to the bottom of the lake. They're actually going to stay at the top. And you can brand that, and then you can put that out. You can give it out, you can sell, you can whatever you're trying to do with your product. Those are all different types of businesses that require unique items to make sure that they have their logo literally everywhere. Because ideally, you want your logo to be somewhere where someone's going to be looking at it every single day. Either it's the person using or someone else across. Right here, we both have these Yeti mugs that have the logo on the other side. That in theory, if I'm drinking this, I know this is a Blackwood mug. But if you're not with Blackwood, or do you not know what Blackwood is, and now you're seeing this, you're like, oh, that's a really nice cup, and it's custom. So yeah, it's just a matter of having your logo out there all the time for as many people to see as possible.
It's more about branding. It's more about awareness than it is about direct response.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just your logo is everywhere they're going to put their eyes on.
So along the lines of this type of stuff, we got pens and business cards and weird stuff, back scratchers. I mean, we just went through COVID, so we handed out the hand sanitizer. All good stuff. Apparel, though, is like a whole nother category. You're wearing a Blackwood, quarter zip. What's the value in having branded apparel?
I think there's two routes to go there. The first one being for internal use, for your people, your employees, if you're a school of some type, your students, whatever it is, you want them to be able to wear it. So one, you can't make it tacky, right? You have to be something that they're okay wearing. And two, you have to make it comfortable. If someone is wearing it just at home, or when they're mowing the lawn, it's going to get dirty and ripped up and whatever. It's not going to be nice. Now, if it's a nice, comfortable shirt that even they may just wear underneath their hoodies, underneath their jackets, just because it's so comfortable. Or maybe it's a nice sunny day and it's a t-shirt and they're just going to wear it outside. I think that is the difference. That's what you want to pick. That's where you want to be looking at what the use is. And then the other side is if it's a giveaway. Giveaways are a little bit tricky because everyone wants the cheapest thing, right? Because, I'm giving this out, so let's not give out too much money.
Yeah.
But it's a giveaway, so you don't want people to receive that t-shirt and be like, oh,
I'm never wearing this.
A little rough. That's going to go at the bottom of the pile, and I'm not going to do much with it. You want some nice tri-blend t-shirts that we've done so much and that we try to get everyone to do because those are soft. People want to wear it. If you're doing long sleeve stuff, like maybe look into the branded stuff and look into the Nikes and Adidas and Champions, whatever it is. Like look into that stuff because that has a statement. Someone may not be willing to wear your logo quarter zip, but maybe if it's a Nike logo quarter zip, they're gonna like, oh yeah, I'll wear this Nike one. Yeah. So it's just about, yes, you may have a limited budget and that's totally understandable, but how can we fit some higher quality items? Same way that we talked about the pens and the business cards. Stay within the game, right? Stay within the box, but stand out within the box. So.
Yeah. And I think the big thing when it comes to any of this, right, is looking at whoever you're giving it to, like what are they going to use, like you mentioned, like on a regular basis, or like when it comes to the quality of the thing, if we looked at the pen or we looked at the hat or something like that, what's something that, like you mentioned, the shirt that they're going to use regularly and that's valuable to them versus like, hey, we got the cheapest possible option because we're handing out 1,000 of these, and you're like, great, thanks, throw it in the trash. So that's, you know, we've seen some of that, and then you hand out something that's nicer. You know, instead of getting the cheapest possible mug, you sprung for the Yeti or maybe, you know, some other brand that's nice but not like salty, and that makes a huge difference. When you hand out some of these mugs to like customers and stuff in the past, they were like, holy cow, like this is a nice mug.
Yeah.
They know these are like $40-$50 a piece versus the $5 one that they're like, great, I'll just shove it in the cupboard with the rest of them. They're actually going to use this on a regular basis.
When you seal it, it leaks into you when you take a drink. Those. No, absolutely. The quality is the main thing. You gotta fit your budget, but you gotta find what's the highest quality item. And going back to apparel too, do something different a little bit. Don't just put a logo in the middle of your hat or just put a big logo on your chest. Do something. Go for a sleeve. Go for a left chest.
Like the corner. Like
go for a corner hat. You know, there's so many different things now, and especially maybe if it's a new business, there is definitely room for that. You know, it's your first, not line of clothes, but it's your first batch. Yeah, put your logo big in the middle, your phone number, whatever. But you've had this a few times already. Let's do something different. Because if you're giving it out to the same people, they don't want 5 shirts with your logo on it in the same exact place, same exact color, same exact everything. Yeah. They want something a little bit different, something that's going to be different for them to wear, and that if they wear it on Monday and then on Tuesday, they don't feel like they wore the same thing twice.
Right.
So,
absolutely. I think there's a ton of value in apparel. There's also, outside of the branded side, you can get, there's value in providing, I think of, since I own a home services business, having their logo on the shirt, on a hat or something like that as they show up to somebody's home. Now that person feels more comfortable because they're like, yes, I was expecting somebody from that company. Or if they weren't and they see that, then they're like, okay, I know who this person is. It's not just some dude in a van who shows up in, you know, sweatpants, and you're like, what are you doing here? Like, they show up and they got branded clothing on. Now you're like, okay, this is a professional.
Yeah. So, 100%. If Amazon showed up at your doorstep in a regular black van and the dude just walked out with the box and dropped it on your front doorstep, you're gonna probably call the cops.
Yeah, a little concerned about
it's
that.
not exactly like you see the logo in the van and you see on their shirt and their hat and the box, and all of that is branded because that way you know exactly who's there and what they're there for.
Yep.